Hello everyone, welcome to the Village of Words. The word relation for this video is no currency, loser. This week we are going to look at a capitalist perspective. I do not agree with the capitalist perspective, but here goes. Straight up saying it, capitalist views poor, low-income people as losers. And what is more a greater loser than an unemployed, no-job person? So if an unemployed people are losers, then what about people of Palestine? In 2024, due to the war, more than half of the Palestinians are unemployed. But worst of all, Palestine do not have their own currency. Even Hamas leaders uses the Israeli shekels, the Israeli currency. A race that do not have their own currency are losers. Therefore, that makes Palestinian people as losers. By right, capitalists would have called Palestine as losers because they have no currency. But instead, there are many capitalists who supports Palestine. Hardly any news will label Palestine as losers and call Palestine out for it. This is a contradiction. A capitalist would say an unemployed person a loser. Yet the so-called capitalists will not say Palestine are losers. Why the hypocrisy and cognitive dissonance? Meanwhile, the capitalists are probably making money out of the charity and propaganda. Perhaps money has no values or have nothing to stand upon. But we can also say this is because the world is not perfect. The world is chaotic and full of contradictions. Just because something causes harm does not mean it has no support from money. Generally, they say tobacco and drugs causes harm. Yet, there are still economies based on those contraband. Not to mention arms dealer who makes money out of war. It is an ideal thing to say that things that brings harm should not be supported by money. If the world is perfect, then maybe money should only support good things. Next, no money means less satisfaction for the people. One would think with no food and less satisfaction would make Palestinians distrust their leaders, but no. Instead, Hamas brainwashes Palestinians to fight with the narrative that the Palestinian land had been taken by Israel. Because of Hamas' genocidal ambition to wipe off the Jews from Palestine, Thus, it has been decades since Palestine has their own currency. Until when will Palestine remain as losers? So Hamas trades money and children fighting for their ambition. But I only believe fighting has meaning if it is for a just cause. But do Hamas really fights for justice? What about the reports of October 7, 2023, where Hamas kills Israeli civilians and kidnap others? Is this justice? According to Exodus, the penalty for kidnapping is death. The Old Testament labels kidnap as a serious injustice worthy of death. But Hamas still do it anyway. Regardless, I do not believe Hamas sexually rapes Israeli people. But Hamas' hatred can be seen before they kill some of the Israelis. Before some of the Israelis were killed, the Israelis were stripped naked. Hamas must consider Israelis as animals or something. Next, I would like to say that religion in general are also losers. While contrary, religion boasts huge numbers of followers, but at the same time, religion is a loser because they do not have their own currency. The currency that religion uses are the country's currency. A religious person claims their God is great, but they do not have their own currency. Next, a religious person claims that their country is religious, but what are the symbols on the banknotes and coins? So you see, this is utterly shameful and defeat. And even if religion has their own currency, the problem is, why is it not unified under one currency? Different religious country has different currency. Again, a religious person claims their God is great, but look at how the religious sects are not unified and have different currencies. After that, a brief thing that I would like to point out is that I am somewhat a Quranist, and I reject Muhammad's hadith and sunnah as unnecessary information. I view the hadith and sunnah as a separate thing from the Quran. It does not mean that there is nothing to gain from the hadith and sunnah. But with the afterlife at jeopardy, a Muslim should primarily master the Quran instead of the hadith and sunnah. Anyway, I like to say and admit that Quranists are also losers. Quranists do not have their own country, let alone their own currency. And Quranists are made up of only a tiny minor community in Islam. In the end, I do not view having money makes one superior to others. Instead, I believe sacrifice for a right cause is more honorable. As they say, it is not about money, it is about how you spend it. But unfortunately, I do not view Hamas is fighting for the right cause. There will forever be disputes over whose land does Palestine belongs to. But I do not see any difference comparing Israel with the Arabs who had expelled the pagans from Mecca a long time ago. The Israeli now and the Arabs back then are similar. Anyway, primarily, history will never remember Hamas who sacrificed money and their children for a just cause. Instead, history will remember Israel for killing children. Even though religious people will always forget that the Abrahamic God is also a child killer. That's all for this video. Hit like, share, or comment down below.